Start together, and we'll
All
talk
right,
then.
we're live now.
Uh, Engage.
All right, so we're live now. So yes, this is another presentation on the American Arawaks Nation platform, and on here we have guest Prince Sadiq. You know the library for the paratee Indians and within the West Indian Territory or the um, North American territory, and he's here to share his knowledge, much needed um, information to the public about the party people and the existence and the issues that are facing the party people. So, Prince Sadiq, you can go ahead and take the floor if you want, if you want. So, go ahead.
Yes, Chief. Well, it's just we're just open discussion, so I'm not quite sure where to talk, where we should start, but I guess you will do the guiding anyway. Well, I mean, the party, the indigenous people of the island, which the corporation, they call Jamaica, and we've been in existence for thousands of years, and the past 10 years or more, we've been trying to wake up our nation in terms of this. We are from Africa, which is not necessarily the case. We have been on these islands and lands for thousands and millions of years before the handful of so-called enslaved people came from Africa. Majority of the people on the island today are in fact not Africans, but were made to believe that. And as I always say, stolen land, stolen identity. That's what's going on. The corporation is there to represent the crown, and that's it, not the people. So the people have been fed this fallacy of they're from Africa, where when they're in fact from the Americas. And I present a lot of facts in the past years showing that my ancestors have always been on the island. And both sides of my families have always been on the islands. Between here, Brazil and United States and other parts of the islands, yes, a handful of the so-called Negroes were taken from Europe, and that's another history we can get into. But as I said, my brother, I don't know where you want us to go with this one, so just keep asking some questions so I can
Yeah,
get there with it.
yeah. Let me ask. As far as the situation going on in the cockpit country, related to party lands and the the entities that's up there, the mining, the bauxite, and even up on down on here side there where the Bluefields area, St. Elizabeth area.
Yeah.
Would you like to address the issue of government intervening on the people land and taking advantage of the people for their lack of knowledge?
You see, the shame, man, and it's not a shame. It said, I mean, I'm blaming our people because they don't know their history. They weren't taught. They were taught something else, and their history was forbidden for most to know about. The party have actually, when the British came to the island, right, and they were fighting the British, when a lot of our people thought that they were going to lose, they took to the mountains. Most people in, I would say, 90% of the people in the cockpit country came from the lower lands. If you go there, you can ask them their name. They will tell you they all have family relations at the lower lands. Party was Jamaica, right? But now it's a little tiny piece of land has been designated as Party. But in fact, we were Party before the name Jamaica came into being. The name Jamaica is a British word. I mean, was given to us by the British. I am not a I am a Jamaican based by what people know the island is today. But other than that, I am an Arawak or a Party. You want to say Carib? Even the word Taino is not our word. We never know the word Taino before, but Party was always with us. In terms of the cockpit country, it's an issue that I respect what the present chief is doing.
Yeah, sorry about that, people. I'll try to get them back on the live stream again. Um, they got kicked from the stream, so we're just here to address the parity issue up in the cockpit areas and even wider parts of the West Indies or in the West Indian Islands and the Americas in general. So for some reason, he got kicked from the stream. So hopefully he could come back in, uh, which is strange. I know they've been messing around with this channel for a while. That's why I'm not really dealing with YouTube too much because of this issue. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get this young man here to come on the live stream and because he's specifically from that region of the party. So give me one moment there. Um, Give me a moment, please. Yeah. So all the people, the viewers and subscribers doing so far. Hope you guys using the information that's on the channel here and the many posts that was already on the community section of the YouTube. Many information on here you could actually use in your everyday life and apply it. If you learn the information and apply it the right way, you could get remedy. You know what I'm saying? Uh, One moment. I'm trying to get this. Corporation. Try to see if you could get back in too. Just try log back in. If anything, just you could try it. I don't know if people could hear you on the over the phone, but you could still speak still and see what happens. One moment, people. We're trying to address this issue here because as I said, they've been tampering with the channel for a while. YouTube censor this channel heavily, so they mess a lot. They mess a lot around with the what you say now, the settings, so to speak. So when I have certain guests in here and they're speaking on certain issues, they're gonna kick them out. That's what they do. That's what this thing is because the information is very important for the people to get it. Um, but I said I'm waiting on the young man to get back in here. Greetings, Freeman. How you doing, man? How you doing, brother? Yeah, I'll praise to the Most High, man. You know it go. We're still getting with as far as these platforms go. We get a lot of fight on these platforms, a lot of attacks. So heavily censored. So I was trying to get this young man here to speak up on the paratee tribe, but as soon as he started to get into the issues, they kick him from the live. So and I haven't been on live for like a long time, so I don't see why they would want to kick him off the live. So, well, anyways, I hope everybody using the information and applying it to their life. Don't wait on somebody to show you. You just try to use it for yourself. because the information is not hidden, people. So you gotta apply what you see and know. Okay, you reading books and all that is good, but at some point you have to be practical. You know what I'm saying? With information for you get the effects what you desire. So just waiting on this young man to get back on the live. Prince, Prince, Prince. Wow. Sorry about that, people. You know what I'm saying? This was supposed to be a very interesting live stream as well. You know what I'm saying? What a lot of information, but it's like I got thrown off with the whole with him getting kicked off the live. But anyways, as I said, um, we're speaking up on the party people. As you know, they are one of the clans from the Arawak Empire, and they are being misled to think that they have to pay taxes on their own land, which is all fraud and falsehood. The Jamaica Corporation that's there only for the benefit of the Queen is actually doing their job as mercenaries and raping these people of their resources and their land and giving their lands away to bauxite companies and mining out the lands and all these things, destroying farmland, um, and actually, it's just this continuous subtle genocide that they keep, implanting on the people. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're just trying to address the issue at hand right now. But if anything, and it cannot be addressed. If anything, and it cannot be addressed tonight or this evening, I'll just plan for another live stream next time so we could get on this issue, as it is a dire issue we need to address. But yeah, this one is for the party clan. Prince. Yeah, it's kind of late as well. So, all right, people. Hold on one moment. All right, people. Sorry about this. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap this up. So we're gonna have to, um, Waris Junado, how you doing? Yeah. Sorry about that, people. This was supposed to be a good live stream, but I'm gonna have to wrap it up right now because disconnection and all type of technical difficulties going on right now for some reason. I don't know why, but I know why. As I said, they've been tampering with this channel. Prince, 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 Prince. Yo, they're not hearing you, bro. All right, people. Yeah. So you're live now. You're live now, bro.
Yes, greetings again.
Yeah. So sorry about that, people. We had some technical difficulties just now. Try to get Prince back on the line. So here he goes. Go ahead, brother. Speak on the issues now.
Yes, I was talking about. I'm not sure where we got cut off, but in terms of as I was saying, Jamaica, the crown has acquired more land today than before 1962 with the trick of independence. During the independence, they went around the nation and tell people, "Oh, let's all come together as one. Out of many, one people. Let's come together as one." And people gave up their autonomy, their land, entrusted in the hands of the Jamaican government, which is the crown, right? Before this, I'm going to speak especially about St. Elizabeth, right? And the Cockpit Country region, I should say. Taxes were not collected in these areas. These people did not pay, our people did not pay taxes because we were indigenous to the land, right? It's after 1962. And still, even after 1962 until the 70s, a lot of people did not pay taxes until now. They have been tricked into. So they have been tied into the crown system. Right? These are the lands of our ancestors. These are the lands of slaves. Because most of our people were not slaves, as they are telling us. These are the indigenous people of the land. Eh? The Jamaican government does not represent the Jamaican people, and they never will. You could cry crocodile tears. They never will. They're there to represent the crown, right? They're there to exploit the people of our nation. That's it. Nothing more. You see, before they had showed respect for Cockpit country, but now they see resources. No, they are want to determine the borders, the boundaries of Cockpit country. Never before this happened. Our ancestors know where the land is. We were the one who determined what Cockpit country was. From the foot of the mountain, that's it. As far as a party nation, party nation never paid taxes either, because they are the indigenous people. When we fought the British, a lot of people took to the mountains. Everyone in the mountains, from Chinel, from Arcadia, from Niagara, from Garlands, Mulgrave, Elderslie, Giantwood, Magati, every one of them can trace their family back to the lower lands. Everyone in the mountains have families in the lower lands. That will tell you who they are. These are the indigenous people. These are all from the nation of the party people. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, they are Jamaican." Yes, you are Jamaican because you're still, your mind still belongs to the British, and you're proud of that, and you love this name that the British gave to you. But no, we never call ourselves Jamaicans. Jamaica, we call ourselves the party people. This is a lot of new news for a lot of people, but no, I've been on your platform many times, and I've been speaking about this for years. Yeah. Most Jamaicans never came to the islands as slaves from Africa. Never. They could cry crocodile tears that they want to go back to Mama Africa. It's not their home. And one day they will realize Africa is not their home. The Americas is their home. When the Spaniard came and sacked Mexico, right? Where do you think they send those Mexicans? Jamaica. A lot of Jamaicans are Mexicans by blood. Mexico is a lot of Jamaicans' home. Yeah? The Incas. When the United States went to war with a lot of the Native Americans over here, where did they send the tribal chiefs? They were all enslaved and sent to Jamaica, majority of them. Prisoners of war. They twisted and said all the bad, unruly slaves, which is rubbish. They were prisoners of war, and majority of them came from the mainland United States. The Algonquin nations, the Yamasee nations, all of these nations, right? Especially Algonquin. A lot of people up in the Cockpit country are seed of the Algonquin. Eh? The Yankuno, which Jamaicans now we call them the Yankees, right? When you hear Jamaican talk about the Yankees, they were talking about these black Native Americans that were sent to the islands. Yeah? The Moko Indians. Yeah? People been talking about back to Africa, stolen identity, stolen land. Yeah? They're giving up their birthright for a place in Africa. It's free if you want to go there, yes, but you just remember the Americas, Jamaica is your home and will always be. You can want to be as much African as you want, but guess what? The African know you are not theirs. Yeah? We have to be proud of where we're from. The documents is there, brother. I showed them to you. That
Yes, man.
the so-called black Jamaicans have always been on the island. Not no stringy, long hair, Asian looking. You can search all the graves in Jamaica. You'll never find those people there. You'll only find our ancestors, the happy nappy people.
And the
Yeah?
Smithsonian Institute is the ones who take the artifacts and keep stored up in all of them labs and them things.
Our old world dentures, even alone, speak as we were the oldest people of the land. Eh? You know, how many times when they were shipping Native Americans to the islands, as soon as they reached the Jamaica, most of them were sent to, a lot of them I should say, were sent to Jamaica and Barbados especially. Those were the two islands the American Indians were sent to. And whenever they go to the islands, they were branded them as Negro slaves. Hmm? Yeah? They left the United States as Indian. And when they get to the islands, they were branded, they were sold as Negroes. Yeah? All the so-called slave records from Africa. It's ridiculous. It's time for people to wake up. Right? And stop listening to the story of we all came from Africa. This 10 white man brought you there, millions of people to the islands, all the islands. How dumb is that? Eh? Eh? Yes, you can say we all black, but don't say we all came from Africa because not every blacks came from Africa. So-called blacks. We have always been on the islands. Before the Europeans, when they came to the islands, they saw our people. They saw our people, the paratee people. It's such a wicked act that no one in school they don't talk about the great nation of the paratee people who inhabited Jamaica before. They don't talk about it. They're talking about this fictitious Taino. Eh? These hybrid people from Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, which they are not the indigenous people. The indigenous people are the same people that you see walking around, the nappy-headed, happy nappy people. Those are the indigenous people. They are not Africans. Every other nation came there after us, after our people. Eh? They recorded there. When you go to the Dutch sources, the German sources, it's right there. But no, they will take their slave master, the British sources, which was rewritten. Eh? It's all fallacy. Eh? No one can ever deny my presence, my ancestors' presence. No, it's there in their records. I am from paratee, and it's right there in the record, so I know what I'm talking about. This is oral history. The funny part about it, when our grandparents used to tell us, when we said, oh, because of the Rasta, so-called Rasta movement, back to Africa, my grandparents always said, we're not African, we're paratee. I said, Grandma, you're not proud to be African. We're from Africa. And when I got older, I realized she was correct. Eh? You see how ironic, how crazy this is? That we don't listen to our elders, but we go and listen to the textbook, which is brainwashing, is books of lies. Eh? Listen, I know a lot of Rastas gonna knock me because of this statement, right? But guess what? The European has done a lot more through the Rasta reggae music than they could have done before. When Marcus Garvey talk about Africa, you know, our ancestors were upset with him saying that we're from Africa. They did not agree with it because they know they were indigenous to the land. Hmm? They knew they were indigenous to the land. But as I said, the records are all there. All there. We just have to go and read and research, which we have been doing the research for years now. And it's time for us to put it out there. We've been doing the research for years now to show that all these Jamaicans, that so-called Afro Jamaicans, have always been on the islands. Some of our people were taken to Honduras and back and forth. All these mosquitoes now that they're calling that the mosquitoes are mixture of African slaves and Asian, which is rubbish. Because mosquito was always on the soil of Jamaica. They're one of the local tribes. Yes, the mosquito kingdom existed through the British, but before the British, mosquitoes have always been there. You know what's so funny? The Spaniards brought mosquito Indians as slaves, enslaved people to the islands, right? And then when these mosquitoes mixed in with our native paratee people, right? The British went and brought another set of mosquitoes to fight against the indigenous people there in the island. So it was mosquito children fighting against their ancestors in the land. Eh? They don't talk about these things. These black so-called mosquito to fight against the Maroons. The Maroons were, a lot of them were also mixed with the mosquitoes because they were also enslaved from over there. So that's why the mosquito knew that, I mean, how to deal with those people. They understand the terrain. We were going back and forth. Okay? Listen, brother. Our people have to wake up. Yeah?
You have anything you want to address in terms of the cockpit country and the current chief in as far as I heard, there was some issues with several chiefs there and stuff. So, in regards to the compound administration,
Well,
uh,
well,
well,
you know, I'm a Maroon also, but in terms of the chief, he's doing something which I like, and is waking up the people of cockpit country. The other part, in terms of politics, I'm not gonna get in it today because I'm gonna give him that respect of waking our people because our people are asleep. The people up in the cockpit country are totally asleep. They forgot about who they are. And I blame the Akangpong Tone Maroon for one thing, right? All these so-called districts, right, are a part of Maroon Town is just a town that represents the cockpit country of that area, right? And I believe they did not do, I could be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong because I'm from the region. They did not do enough to go out to the district and keep awakening the people yearly, right? And have dialogues throughout all these districts from Dry River all the way to Retirement to Garlands to Chinel to, you know, Eldersley to all the region of, I mean, going to Trelawney. They didn't do much jobs. A lot of a good job at it because a lot of the people know when I'm there, you're speaking to a lot of the young kids. They don't know who they are. They don't even know that they are Maroon. They only see a compound town as Maroon. Yeah. So with this chief, I see this chief now doing that, going around to all these small communities, and he needs to do more. I know he's a busy guy, but he needs to do more. Forget about him also. I mean, no, sorry, I'm not in a disrespectful way. In addition to him and the other tribal members, they need to do more. Yeah? They need to do more. They need to go back to I mean, we need to go back to the eras when each district have a representative, right? That is gone. Yeah? You can't go to Johnson and said, "Oh, who's the chief? I mean, who's the guy who represent us over here that we can deal with?" They don't do that. So now they all look to the Jamaican government as their head, which was never like this. Yeah? It was never like this. It was never like this. No, the history, because of that, the history have died among our young people. Yeah? And but I mean, we'll get back there. Honestly, we'll get back there because I'm doing my part. You're doing your part. We're doing our part. And once our people know who they are, right? The cockpit country will not be destroyed, right? It won't be. And speaking in regards of the cockpit country, people up there also have to realize where they came from. They talk about this word maroon. What the heck is a maroon? Eh? This loose word that they love to use. Eh? There's no such thing as a maroon. There's no such thing as a maroon, you know. We are paratee. We are mosquito. We're Algonquin. We're all indigenous Indians of the land. There's no
Pequot.
such
Pequot.
Pequot, Pequot. Thank you. Hmm? We're all indigenous of the land. What is this maroon thing? Eh? No, we have to stop letting people name us. Call us what our ancestors called us. Name us. Eh? This maroon thing. We are not maroon, brother. Yeah? And we will never be maroon. They're using it for maybe political term right now, but no, we have to get back to who we are. Yeah? We're dishonoring our ancestors by calling ourselves maroon, right? Chief Curry, you are the blood of the parchment. So you're not a maroon. You're a party. If that's what you, I mean, if you have that blood in you, right? The handful of Africans that came to the land is a drop in the bucket of our ancestral blood. Right? Majority of the people up in the hills did not came from Africa, right? They are the bloodline of the Native American, the true indigenous Indians of this land. Yeah? And they were not the stringy here. Because we can get into that history next time, where a lot of those Asian people were brought over to fight against us. It's a fact. A lot of those Chinese looking Mexican or whatever, they were brought over to defeat us, to fight our people. Hmm? It's fact. This is something that we can present. All those people were brought over, and you will never find any of those string here. I mean, you can search all the graveyards throughout the islands. You're not going to find those so-called Chinese, Asian-looking Indians. They don't exist on the land. All you will find is our ancestors on the land. Our people have been tricked for many years to believe that they are slaves from Africa. No, we're not slaves from Africa. We were prisoners of war, of the many wars that we had in the Americas, from United States to South America, to the islands. Jamaica was one of the main, and Barbados were the two main areas where the prisoners of war were sent to. Hmm? They call it unruly slaves. Call it what you want, but they were not from Africa. They were prisoners of war, from the Apache Indians to all the other, the Algonquin especially, and from the Mexicans. Yeah, our people need to know about the Mexican wars. When the Spaniards sacked Mexico, how much thousands of them were sent to Jamaica, and they were not those Mexican looking at. They were the Negroes of Mexico, the rulers who were sent to the islands. Hmm? Yeah. They won't talk about the thousands of uprisings and rebellions that happened on the islands. All they will talk about is the few so-called Maroon Wars. Eh? Eh? That's all the British will present to you, but they won't show you all the other wars on the land. Eh? No one knows about this history except a few. But you're gonna dwell on this fallacy of the slaves from Africa. The islands have always inhabited by our people. In terms of the mining in the land, brother, our people have to wake up. And because they don't know who they are, they look into a foreign land as their home. How ridiculous is that? They actually believe that 10 Europeans brought millions of people to the whole Caribbean island. Eh? Our people have always have the fighting spirit, and it has been multiplied years and years because most of the indigenous tribes of the United States were shipped to Jamaica. Yeah, they don't know. Most of the chiefs were shipped there after losing after battle. That's where they sent them to break them.
with the help of other tribes as well.
Yes.
Fight
When you look at
with the
yeah,
orchestrate
when,
fighting other tribes, send them group up the villages and dump them on the islands as well.
you know what's so funny? When you look at a Jamaican brother and a person from Barbados, we look at a Jamaican, right? That person possesses almost every tribes from United States and the Americas. Because not only the tribes, no, they possess the fighting spirit of all the chiefs of the Americas. Because that's where they were sent. Hmm? All the chiefs were sent there to the islands. Majority of them, I shouldn't say all. Majority of a lot of them were sent to the islands, right? Because they want to break them, prisoners of war. And after they left the states, the mainland, right? They left the mainland as American Indians, and when they got to the island, they were sold as Negro slaves. Yeah? So tell me, who are the real Indians? Hmm? Look at Mexico today, right? The indigenous people of Mexico are branded as Afro Mexicans, right? And these are the ancestors that a lot of them are right there on the island of Jamaica today. They don't know. Jamaican people don't know anything about history, and it's a shame. It's a shame. It's time for people to wake up and know who they are. Hmm? When they go to the United States, right? I remember about 15 years ago, I was speaking to one of a chief over here, and he said, whenever the people from the islands come here, they're still coming home. I said, wow, yeah. Whenever Jamaican come to go to the United States, they're simply going home to the mainland. That's their home. Canada, that's their home. Eh? It's not their foreign land. It's their home of their ancestors. All the Caribbean, all the Americas is the home of our ancestors. As I was saying earlier, the we talk about the Mexicans, right? I mean the so-called blacks and the Asian, those like Asian Indians they like to show. Eh? Majority of these people were brought over from the Philippines, from China, from Indonesia, those places to fight against the Negroes, the Indians of the land. Eh? All these people that you see you're calling Indians today, right? They're not the indigenous. They were brought over here to fight against the so-called black men of this land. And the reward was the reservation of today. Yes, brother. But as a proud son of the great party nation, our people will know who they are. And I'm not sure if you have any more questions to ask, but thanks for always inviting me to your platform. And you know, our party people, the people of the sea.
Yeah, yes, brother. Of course, it's very important to get the information out to the people, the wider public, because a lot of people don't understand who they are, and it's very important to understand your history and your true heritage, as far as protecting your family, the resources, because you have these entities, these uh, parasitic entities, like to go around and mine the farmlands of the people, and the land is where people get their primary source of food and income from. So when you destroy the land, the tapestry and all these things, and you take away all the useful soil for planting food, you leave the people to starve, and that's another form of genocide. And there's many forms of genocide. That's one form of genocide right there. So that right there, starvation and famine. Because if you don't have land to plant the food in, you have famine and starvation, and then people have to run and depend on outside um, entities to give them the same thing that they was planting right before they mined the land. So, in other words, they're gonna have to go buy it from the same enemies who destroy their resources. So, it's very important for people to understand that this is not a game. This is not a joke, people. This is very serious, and we are all indigenous to the entire earth. But
Yes, yes. Thanks.
they are, they are, we are you know, even the Bible talk about the land was divided up and give like and lot and all these things. So when you're talking about the land divided up and so true, the forefathers give specific areas of the land to specific offsprings, and so it's just to keep the it was a way of keeping the land maintained and flourish, and for the tribes to come back again as one and mix again. And you know what I mean? So basically, what we are doing is reviving our side of our lot, making sure the people know who they are, and then now if the people choose so to go back and mix, but mixing knowing that who they are. Because you know, mixing is a form of survival as well.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm going to add one more point to this.
Yeah.
A lot of people, in terms of slavery, a lot of people don't know that my people, our people, there were more people taken off the island of Jamaica as enslaved people and brought onto the island. Yeah, the British were enslaving our people by the thousands. Eh? They were enslaving our people by the thousands on the islands and taking them to the other islands. Eh? We have documents of that. So you're talking about they're talking about bringing in slaves to the islands. They're enslaved. They're Africans. Not true. Not true. Slavery happening in reverse. Majority of it. Most of the so enslaved people were from the Americas, from Trinidad to Jamaica, Jamaica to Trinidad, United States to Brazil, Honduras, and those places. It was not. They're taking months to go to all the way to Africa. It was right there, the triangle right there. That's it. But as I said, our people were taken by the thousands from our islands by the British as slaves. Okay, brother, continue. And all of this can be clarified. I mean, it can be verified, but go ahead.
And that's very true. It was like even the first set of so-called slaves that Columbus had. They were Indians.
Yes. And look, we have the picture from the libraries of Spain and what they look like. Eh? The same happy, nappy headed people that we see in the islands. Eh?
Yep.
We have the pictures of with this, the sources of all those things, right? And the funny thing is, when they got to Spain, they were sold as Negro slaves. Eh? The
Yep.
Indians, the Arawaks that they took from the islands that took to Spain, they were sold as rebranded as Negro slaves.
And
Most people don't
it
know that.
isn't it is impossible, quite impossible for a a people or entity coming over this side of the land and determine what the population over here is when they have no knowledge of the land of the people. So when they're telling you about the wipe out all the Indians, how they know they wipe out all the Indians? Um what documentation they have to prove that? Where is the the death records, the records of death? So
Mhm.
you could have the count to say you wipe out the entire nation of people. It's ridiculous, even the way they speak. It doesn't even make sense.
Paper genocide.
You understand? How
Yeah.
you how I'm gonna come to your land? I don't even know nothing about that land. And I'm gonna determine that you have 6 million so-called Indians and you wipe out all of them, but you don't have records to show that you wipe out all of these people. You don't have it documented. You're supposed to have death certificate for everybody. So where's the death certificate for all these bodies that you claim that was wiped out? But to determine your numbers to because you have to have the records to match the numbers. You can't just come with a narrative and say you wipe out the entire. No, that's ridiculous. How is that even possible? As far as I know, the Indians that they came here, our ancestors that they came and saw here, they were not very nice. They were not so polite. They were vicious.
Yeah.
So, in terms of defending the Milan and in terms of foreigners coming in their territories and all these things, their natural reaction is to defend themselves because they don't know where what these key entity about really. So the fact that you couldn't get close enough to certain villages, how the hell you determine you wipe out entire people? So you see the narrative just get collapsed right there. They destroy the narrative in just a few seconds right there.
And the next thing is they could not enslave the body of our people, so they enslaved the mind by having this brainwash education every year in through school books, through the school system, by telling our people that they are slaves from Africa. That's what they did. Every year they're brainwashing our people by saying, "Oh, you're from Africa, you're slaves. You're a slave, you're a slave." That's what they did. They couldn't do it with our ancestors, so they did it with our modern era. Eh? You're slaves from Africa, you're slaves from Africa. And people believe into it when
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
what the
true.
missionary, that's what the church and the Jesuit was sent here to do. They were all eugenicists. The eugenics movement, the eugenicist movement started from way back and it's not just now, recent. It's from those times. The Jesuits are eugenicists. So
And the Jesuit people that Jesuit use is our own people to spread this fallacy. It's our own people who are doing it through the school system.
yeah, absolutely. The school system, the education system is the number one institution, but also it was also through the church more so because the
Yeah.
school systems come down from even the church.
Mhm.
So the whole um, taking your own spirituality and selling it back to you as in a form of a savior to save you, coming to save you from your sins. That's all your knowledge got remixed and regurgitated back to you in a different form. But
Yeah.
that's why our people resonate with it so much because it's really our information, but the allegorical, whatever if that's a word, they make it allegories in a
Yeah.
sense of
Yeah.
they use characters to hide the truth. So
Yeah.
they hide science behind these characters. But it's
Right.
really your information they're using against you. So it's deep, people. It got really deep in terms of the psychological damage and the subconscious mind of how they tap into your subconscious using the psychological wizardry. Because they teach psychology degrees and all these things to certain people, so they know how to stimulate your thoughts in a certain pattern, so make you think a certain way and see things differently from a different perspective. The same perspective that your ancestors left for you, but you're just seeing it in a more warped, distorted manner. And you're not seeing it's just really you them talking about. And it's how you give away your power to these people because you don't know who you are and you keep just being ignorantly. And that's why I say ignorance is a bliss.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
It's a bliss for them. It's not a bliss
We,
for
we,
you.
we have our own our people, men, dreaming of Ethiopia, and we're not Ethiopians. No matter what you want to say is your motherland, you're not. Huh? You're saying that some are say going, oh, they're from Ghana. Oh, please, Ghana. Huh? You know what? I should cover the Ashanti slave trade. And all those people who claim to be from Ashanti, I want to see their response. Yeah? Yeah? They just go by what people tell them. Yeah? They just go by what people tell them. It's a shame, brother. It's a shame what I mean, what's going on with our people that we just believe in anything without picking a book and read. Yeah? When the records are there to tell them who they are. Yeah?
Yeah. Grown adults acting like kindergarten children. Even the kindergarten children know who them are right now. It's just
Yeah?
the knucklehead
Yeah?
adults
Yeah?
keep um retrain back the children to be as knucklehead as they are. But even the children know this.
Yeah?
So it's very, yeah, as I said, brother, it's very unfortunate that it took this long for people really start to realize what's going on and the amount of damage we already done in terms of like our government structure, our own jurisdictions and thing that was established to protect our rights, to protect the people, land, and protect our movement.
Imagine your grandparents, your great grandparents live on a land and build a house, right? And a guy come over and said to your grandkids, I said, "Oh, you know, the land is not yours. The house is not yours. Your grandmother built it, but it's not hers because she was brought here to build that house." They're not gonna check to verify if it's actually true. The person just got here and telling you that your house and land is not yours. Huh? When your ancestors have been on it for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. Yeah? And this is just like with our nation, right? No one can ever deny it that we are not indigenous to the land. No one can ever deny it. They'll go for, oh, you look like an African. What does that mean? What does that mean? Eh? Brother.
That means
You know?
genocide, my brother.
Yes. What does that mean?
But that means genocide. That's exactly what it is. And then you
Mm.
have these offshoots of the eugenesis movement, like a Prince Mason Lodge and all these places. That inside of these places, that's where even you find your street side scholars coming out and misdirecting the people over the years. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these
Hmm.
people are Masons and they mean no good to you. They have no good intention, no goodwill. I'm not saying not bashing the Mason, the lodge thing. If it's for the good of the people, then it's fine. But I know for a fact that most of the misleading and the miseducation is from these institutions are the people who participate in these institutions and they all have an agenda. And the agenda is not good for you.
Hmm.
It's where it's for them to profit in any way, shape, or form, any means necessary. That means that they're gonna brainwash you or mislead you if you think you come from outer space, you're alien to your own land. You know what I'm saying? So these things you have to really take into consideration and really think about it and have discussions with your relatives and the elders and try to pick their mind and see what's really going on, while they're still alive. Because the ball is in our court right now because, as you could see, it's not looking too good for the wider society in terms of uh, this whole society look like it's gone this so-called society or whatever they're doing seem like it's on the verge of collapsing anytime soon. So
I think we have other guests trying to get into the show, into
yeah,
your program.
yeah, but the device is not compatible, I guess, because this one here can't come on here because I see it but can't connect
Okay.
for some reason. You know what I'm saying? That's all. The whole thing with these platforms. You just never know, man. But
No, they said they are in, but I'm not sure what's going on.
oh yeah, not functioning right. But anyway,
Yeah.
the topic at hand is the people of the lands where you call the West Indies or
The Corporation of Jamaica. The corporation
yeah
called Jamaica.
yeah the Western Hemisphere and
And
the
the Americas.
several different land masses that's located on the geographical coordinates between what you call we are the occidental inhabitants, so to speak. So rather speaking in terms of you know at the moment the paratee people within the regions of the Honduras and the Costa Rica region, coming back to the islands, back to the Jamaica, back to the Cuba, the Haiti, these areas, because a lot of these inhabitants right now is from fallen, what you would call Mayan empires, and they migrated to the islands as well. So a lot of people never discuss these things in terms of who we are in how widespread our chiefdoms are.
To add to what you're saying, you can elaborate on it also. The party is just one of the nations among.
Yeah, of course. Like
Yeah.
it's like okay, it's like saying, all right, we know, all right, the Caribbean, for example, have several different islands, but we could still communicate based upon the language we use, right? Several different islands, several. So these are the original chiefdoms. So it's the same thing when you say party. Party is just a sept of
Yes.
offshoot of the different many variation of tribes that based upon geographical locations or yeah, geographical location describe the tribal ethnicity more so because of the thousands of years of inhabiting that area and the way of life. And certain tribes have certain way of life based upon the environment. So a lot of times the tribes take on names of the environment more so based upon their survival skills and these things. And Parati is just such a tribe that more so are from the lower coastal regions where more
Fishing area.
fishing area and that's their way of life mostly. But that's one way of their life. But
Yeah.
it's the most predominant way of their life.
Because we had
So
other tribes that inhabited the island also. I mean, other
yes,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Other tribes have live in a different way, more so of the land, more so planting food from the land and cultivation and all these things and irrigation systems and setting up because we had proper structures in place. We are not we are not these cavemen that they try to portray us as just wearing kilts and walking off naked and these things as we're not civilized. We definitely had our way of life, which was organized and well established in accordance with the natural law. That's how it was going up. The natural law, the way the seasons, the sun, the moon, the all these things, the planets aligning. We are more in depth with that kind of mindset. So we dress certain ways for certain reasons. It's not that we choose to be naked or anything, but we just see it as even more make more sense if you're in a hot region. Why you have on so much clothes? You know your skin have to breathe air. So why you gonna put on all these clothes in a hot region when naturally it's not conducive to that? Your body, if you even going outside right now in the heat, you feel the heat in your clothes and you know something feel wrong. You feel like you feel hot, like you're burning. That's because naturally you would never dress like that in a hot region. So we had our regalia, how we wear out certain things. We know when we get in the cold areas, we know if we dress appropriate, if we adapt to that cold region or the most cool region. So people don't let these sellouts or these Jesuit misinform you on your on your heritage. All right. So one moment. Yeah, people. So see my Prince got kicked from the stream. I'm trying to add a young lady as well, so she could speak her facts and things. But for some reason, the device she's using it's not compatible with this thing. So as I said before, man, just do yourself a favor because if the people if the majority of the people start to do for themselves, it would be most helpful to the broader society of our people, or our indigenous people in terms of um you have different, of course, you have different tribes, but stem from other tribes too, offshoot from other tribes. So, in a sense, we are connected in some way or manner. So, not too much with this isolation thing either, because the fact is, when you isolate yourself, you create a kind of divide and conquer type thing, and you weaken your efforts. You know what I'm saying? So, the the goal is not to isolate ourselves from other people or people who know them heritage. The goal is to isolate ourselves from the lies and the misleading doctrines, that's destroying our people mental state and making them become second class citizens on their own land. So this is where I take a stance and say enough is enough, and my actions and other people actions actually contribute to you know helping to develop uh, the mindset of the people who seeking to learn this information so they could apply it in their lives to help their family, their friends, their loved ones. So yeah, this is all about rebuilding, rekindling, and restoring what is already there. So one moment there. Yeah, so I'm just here waiting for a young lady to join the live. Yeah, as soon as she gets on, she say her part, and I wrap this up. Um, that's pretty much it. But not saying anything that I haven't said before. We've been saying this for probably a couple of past 3 years now. There was a lot of attacks and stuff on the channels, and brother Darman's channel getting attacked, and all these things is you getting attacked from left to right. Even it's crazy, man. The things are I see with my eyes and witness, and it's ridiculous, man. And what makes it more sad too, a lot of the fight coming from your own people, your own kin, your own people who your loved ones, and it's very unfortunate because when you like that now, it push you away from your people, and you end up in other places, and people more ever familiar with you treat you with more respect than your own people. So you see, these are the things we need to understand on why certain tribes went certain ways and do certain things against their own people, because maybe some tribes cut off certain people, and those people go back, befriend the outsiders treat them good, and they come back to kill the other one, to retaliate because of the whole situation of them getting treated badly, right? So it's very serious for people. Yeah, it is. It's there, man. Our own people are our own demise, our own enemies. Biggest enemies are our own people. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But we're just trying to get this young woman on here, and if she could come on. Um, I don't know how long it's gonna take. I'm gonna try to hang out for like 5 more minutes and see if to get her on here. Still waiting on her. So yeah, but back to what I was saying, you have to get realistic and see it for what it really is, because the same no, nothing is new under the sun. The same thing that's happening right now with our people getting misled and treating treating their own people like trash. This is why those people went away, make friends, or made uh, pacts with foreign entities or other people from different, you know, land, from different regions of the earth. And those people treat them with way more respect than their own people. So what you're gonna have is, if somebody from the outside treating you way more better than your own people, that speak volumes. So that make it feel like your own people is your worst enemy. So why you want to be with your own with your enemy? What you're gonna do? You're gonna retaliate against the enemy. So you're gonna team up with other people to get back to your enemy, which is the people who treat you like garbage, which is your own people. You understand? So all these tribal wars are going on is only stem from specific issues within the family, you know. So you have to understand what's going on, people. It's bigger than what you think. Just like in these times, it's your the people who look just like you is misleading you. It don't change. It's the same thing happened back then. It's the same thing happening now. And you wonder why our people cannot advance and do better for themselves. It's because the people who look just like you cause you or your society what you should have established already, which is very simple. It's not hard to establish a jurisdiction, a tribal jurisdiction. It's just a one declaration and it's done. A public notice and it's done. Okay? And you function within that charter that you created for your people. And there's nothing to stop you from doing that because it's your right, it's your duty to step up and uh, be of use to your fellow man and your fellow woman. You understand? So it's your duty to know the law. No one is gonna teach you the law. You have to know the law for yourself. No one is gonna teach you. Okay, I think she's on here now. You here now, Bella?
Hi, greetings.
How you doing? Yeah, you're on the live stream. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mute and let you just speak your part. All right. So we're on the topic of the people and how we treat each other, and of course uh the paratee situation going on with the cockpit country and the whole maroon situation and the Jamaica Corporation infringing on the people rights all over again, which they have no say so over the people not at all because as I said, the Declaration of Independence for that corporate entity was established by the Queen of England, and within that document, that instrument, they never mention anything about the people of Jamaica. It just mention a Jamaica government, which is a body politic, which is a fictitious entity acting as a government. So, go ahead, Bella.
Well, this was a short notice, so I'm not really prepared. But all I can say is that the people of Jamaica, the Aboriginal melanated people, dark skinned people, um, the majority of them are the original people of the Americas. So, as the brother was saying before earlier, I did hear some um, communication that they have used the church, and the church clearly is very powerful. The people are so afraid of the church. I think, I don't know, like some kind of spook was done on the people, but they definitely, it definitely has a lock on them on the mindset, and they use that mindset to help weaken um, themselves in the context of feeling inferior um, against a government, you know. So this idea that we're all African, and then when if you're a dark skinned melanated person like myself, they automatically assume you're from Africa, and they just, yeah, they just have a false ideology because of that indoctrination. Like my grandmother, for example, is 90 years old, and I've questioned her like in great detail, and according to her, she has never heard any of her own blood relatives or family or people in the community ever claim that they're from Africa. She always was very um she always knew she was from the Caribbean, like her roots, you know? So it wasn't really until she came to North America or she stepped foot into their school system where she was basically heavily indoctrinated about this idea that we all came to Jamaica as slaves and black people are all from West Africa type of thing, you know? So it's definitely been indoctrinated. And even with me growing up, I always remember um, my mom would always refer to Maroons as Indians. So like I find it strange that people older than me um, don't realize that wait a minute, Maroons were never considered to be Africans. When I was growing up, Maroons were called Indians. So if I'm younger than that generation, you know, then how is it that I can remember? My mom always used to refer to Maroons as Indians, you know, always. It was no questions or anything. And on top of that, um, we never we never grew up in a household where we spoke about oh, our ancestors came from slavery from Africa and we have to go claim this and that. You know, it was just we're just West Indian. My I would like to say that my father is Nigerian. He is Yoruba. And even with my father being Yoruba, they never spoke about having a connection to like the so-called blacks of the Americas. They're just they're people, you know, like they're into their own culture. They're not like, oh, let me go and save my lost relatives that got stolen on the ship to the Caribbean or Jamaica. They were two different people, two different cultures, languages, everything, you know. So like even that itself, there's even a history there. But yeah, it just, you know, we have been on the planet way before this ideology of slavery and white man coming to save people and bringing them to the Americas to work the cotton fields and all this crap. All of this is a bunch of bull. And this actually comes this information actually came out in about the late 1800s, I would say, the late 18 to early 1900s, the Reconstruction era, you know, because they couldn't handle the fact that we melanated or dark skinned, chocolate colored people were found here um, in great numbers from north, west, south, and the Caribbean islands. And they just had to create this out of Africa theory and say that, you know, we were monkeys that came from Africa and we evolved into to the humans and all kind of crap. So it's really it's the honestly the power really comes from psychological warfare and psychological trauma. That's what they did to us to make us believe that we're from here or there. And even me myself, and just like, you know, you and Prince and everybody else, um, you know, it's kind of a challenge for, at least for myself, if I should speak for myself, to acknowledge that I'm an Indian or an Aboriginal or even part Indian. Um, it's a challenge because I don't look like what somebody would classify as an Indian. I'm not. I don't have those features of like the so-called pale face or the native or whatever, you know. So if you don't have that in your dark skin or whatever, you automatically just lumped into um, like a political, socio-political category that says you're black and that's it. Your ancestors were slaves and that's it. And stop trying to steal somebody else's culture when I'm acknowledging my culture. I'm acknowledging who I am. And when I look back into my history as a child growing up, like everything we did, everything my grandmother did was an Indian culture, but I just never thought about it. I didn't really think about it. Or if I did think about it, maybe I thought, oh, it's African just because we're black, you know? So that's what I like to say. That's all I have to say.
Okay, well, that was good. I just shared a little bit of information about your father's side of the history and thing. You see, you see how she just pretty much is not to separate people. You know, it's just to say, okay, we have different cultures and there's a distinction. So she's saying that her father is a Yoruban thing, and she's saying her father never once tell her nothing about African slaves leaving Nigeria and all these things coming to the Jamaica. And never, she said she never heard it from her dad. She never heard that none of that stuff. So the thing is, if her father is actually an African, and her father never even shared that information with her, and she have her mom, which is a West Indian woman, and her side of story is much more different than the Yoruba side of story, then what more you want, people? I mean, come on now. This is a young lady that have both of the privilege of both cultures. So, and she clearly break it down just right now and show you the facts. So if you still want to make these internet gurus mislead you and ship it down the river to somewhere in a Neverland, right? And you still stay here stuck, uh, no, with no identity or no self respect. That's on you because you hear it. You just hear it. You just hear it live from somebody who's alive and have the both bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
my thing is, I don't know what else to say, man. I mean, that's why I don't do much live streams anymore or anything much on YouTube because it's just like, okay, how much more I'm gonna say? How much more are you gonna see? How much more I'm gonna tell you? How much more I'm gonna present? How much more the other brothers like Dartmonix, um, you know, Locono, Copper Hot Step, the ICCC, right? These brothers and sisters have the information as well. How much more they have to present to you for you to get it in your knucklehead? No disrespect, but this is what our the adults are. Because the children more absorb the information than the adults. The adults are knuckleheads, okay? And that's a fact because they want to. Even when you point things out to them and you show them, instead of they go and do the research themselves, them rather fight you and ask you how you know that, and you just present the information like literally. So they still have a blind eye to information presented to them directly and live. So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to convince anybody about nothing. I'm just here to say my piece and speak with like-minded individuals like the sister on the panel here with me, um, and share our heritage, our culture with with the people, with the general public, as we have the right to express our uh, culture and all these things. This is what we are doing now. Staying in contact with our culture, our heritage, and all these things, and stand on our rights, because these are the things that they remove from us. And when you remove the culture, you literally remove the right from the people to express themselves and move freely upon their own lands, right? And use their own resources.
Yeah.
So it's our genocide, people, in many subtle forms, right? And it's not so much the white man doing it to you; it's your own people doing it to you too, because
It's our
they,
own. Yeah.
yeah, your own people, literally, they're the ones who sign treaties with the white man too. So they're the ones
Mm.
who agree that they come here and destroy our villages and all these things, and a lot of them assist with it. So I'm not pointing no more finger on the white man or these people because they're actually good people. Some of them, most of them, the majority, because they will tell you straight that you are an Indian too, and you still won't believe it. So
Mm.
I don't know what to say
Yeah.
to you, man. Hey, it's on you at this point. Ignorance is a choice, right? So yeah, you know,
Yeah.
as I say, sister, it's good to have you on the panel. Thank you, Prince, for coming on the panel as well. I really appreciate your
Thank
time.
you. Thank you for having me. Hopefully we
Yeah,
can do this again and I can come more prepared because it was like short
of,
notice.
of course, but you don't know. Prince, tell me you want to get on, and if yeah, I
Hmm.
wanted you to get on here and express yourself because we all need to express ourselves too. You know what I'm saying? As people, as
Yeah, for real.
um, 'cause we have so much energy and so much we are people who are flamboyant. We're
Hmm.
sophisticated people, so we as a people need an avenue to express ourselves, right? So
Yeah,
really
no doubt,
appreciate
for real.
the time and the effort and the knowledge you share with the subscribers and viewers, and thank you for coming on
Mm.
here. And that's pretty much it for the live stream. I'll
Thank
wrap it up
you.
right
You're
now, and
welcome.
have a good night, people, and thank you for coming in and tuning in. All right, so share this live,
Thank
subscribe,
you.
and I'm
You
saying
too.
peace out. All right, love and respect.
Peace.